many goalkeeper to 9 goals do you see? How many direct route one?
Yeah.
But maybe that's your strategy. Maybe that's what you guys are going to adopt over the next year. Just
We'll see. If everyone's zigging, we got to zag.
hey, I think the game, the tactical approaches, it's cyclical. How people,
It really, I love kind of tracking like the big picture trends like that because you're exactly right. The second Pep Guardiola does something or whatever team wins the World Cup, like you can guarantee that next fall,
yep,
who's playing 3-5-2 just because Bielsa did it or something.
yep. I mean, it is truly incredible that how much like about the German national team was in Klinsmann, and like I think he had an American doing all of his physical fitness stuff. How much press that got, and then everybody was in on that.
Right, right.
Like, oh wait, actually, that piece in the controlled environment of the World Cup doesn't actually have anything to do with U12, like physical development.
Right.
It's,
Then you have to backtrack.
yeah, and and that's the thing, right? I think the cyclical nature of it. Part of it is, I mean, if people are, saying, look, there's a million different game models, and if people are paying attention, and if you know they pay attention to the point where they're thinking critically, right, about how the game is played, and they're not. I think if goalkeeper to 9 is the most effective way to score and win a game at the pro level, then that's great.
And do it. Yeah.
Like that the ultimate. But I think the reality is at the youth levels that introducing concepts that can be applied across all game models at the older age, when they're into adult,
Yeah.
it is a trend that is going in the right direction, right? I think that people are understanding that if you don't introduce concepts that are more difficult to understand or difficult to implement, such as Pep's positional play,
Yeah.
playing through the lines, and understanding where to be, why within that, much more complex game model, versus up and in, which is a very basic positional concept that if you apply that concept over and over and over again at the youngest ages, kids are going to be popped into a more complex system and be like, I have no idea where to be and why.
Right.
So I think the trend is, within youth soccer, has gone into saying, okay, we've flooded ourselves with, the German system. We flooded ourselves with the Spanish system. Now it's, the trend was, obviously Brazilian and so I think now, we've, at least just from what I've seen in terms of the educational platform, saying like, hey, like there's this, there's that.
Yes.
Here are the core concepts.
Yeah.
Let's recognize who we're introducing them to. Let's make sure that we're doing it in a way that allows us to kind of play within that. And I've seen it with our coaches, just over 10 years, just be able to say, okay, first let's be more critical, then let's identify concepts, and then let's build a curriculum that allows us to do that and adjust it every season, every year as we learn within that. And I think that's a fun part of coaching and a fun part of being in a role like yours or mine, where we can adjust things and see how it plays out over time.
Yeah. I'm all about that. I'm all about like for my own coaching or for my own really anything. Like, can I reflect on it? Can I refine it for the next time? And that's kind of what you're getting at with creating a curriculum and way to teach these players. So hopefully by the time they are 18 or they want to go to college and play or be professionals, they can think for themselves and they can always revert to playing up and in. But if you don't have the foundation of
Right.
passing and receiving and knowing where to be and why, then it's all going to break down.
So you're saying that if Klopp does one thing, you're not just saying that's the Bible. I thought you might. I thought you
Well,
might.
no, that's my big criticism. He doesn't have a plan B where like now it's just hard to watch. This year, like if plan A doesn't work, what is the plan B? And like it can't be really for any team. It can't be just to buy someone who
Right.
might help you. Like that's not sustainable. So
So what if you were in his shoes with, your captain center back, now second captain, who's filling in at center back out? What are you adjusting?
hey, you need for locking up at least that position to take a stab at that, like have more cover from the midfield. Like don't just spread three guys across the width of the pitch and expect 17-year-olds to handle it at center back. Like it's kind of crazy. Like they have stuck to the more or less the same setup for like 4 or 5 years. Um, I do remember them playing a 4-4-2 diamond where there was at least more cover in the middle of the field. They were like denying passes, so like it didn't quite reach the center backs. I think that was earlier this year, but like it's weird. It's like I said, it's hard to watch this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has been spoiled, with
Well, he has. And there's adversity now, so it's like
yeah,
like these players have lost probably less than 10 times over a 3-year period. So yeah, adversity is new for them.
yeah. Well, so that's where I mean, you mentioned just one, adjustment that obviously if you have center backs that are struggling and they're getting exposed often, in areas where they still have large percentage of possession, they're still creating good chances, not as many, definitely not as many,
Right.
but good chances. But you're right. I mean, I wonder what who's playing at the 6 right now or 8? Is it
Well, it's Thiago, Wijnaldum, Henderson is now out for who knows how long. But yeah, maybe it's like
dude,
apart
Tiago's
from just
passing percentage is horrendous right now. I would love
Thiago.
to see stat there. His passing percentage,
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, apart from just like the way you set up your team, you got to adjust how you approach the game. Like, should we at least be pressing, for 90 minutes, or should we be at times more conservative and just, man, soak up some pressure and play on the counter? Like, I think he said it recently where, the expectation of being a Liverpool team, like it's almost he feels a responsibility to play exciting soccer,
Yeah.
entertaining for the fans. So you're always playing on the front foot and you're the aggressor, but you're going to get caught out if you're always sort of going for it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think obviously he's been working for a long time, and his adjustments are great. But no, I think you bring out a good point. I mean, Leeds, right? Leeds is another great example of where a philosophy is implemented. He's sticking to it. I mean, you just mentioned that. Like that. I mean, Pat, like they do have these core values and philosophy, concepts that they
Sure.
feel are going to give them the best. So even within this, he's like, I know this works. So you just need to play a little bit sharper. I mean, I'm ripping on Thiago. He's literally like the highest. He has like the record of passing.
Thiago slander.
Yeah, but I just feel like, when you don't have the same guys around you and he's in that position where he is being asked to obviously cover defensively,
Yeah.
and he's connecting it. I just think guys have been a little bit out of sorts, and then it creates bigger gaps. You can see one off the break, and now Klopp is questioning his philosophy. So
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it comes down at the end of the day to the individuals, and like you kicked this off with, there are a lot of injuries, which means there's a lot of new faces on the field, or at least combinations of, say, center backs and goalkeepers, and like, so it's the relationships on the field where there's been actually a lot of games, even recently, that for large periods of the game, Liverpool, they've looked good. But then it comes down to just one or two moments where it falls on the foot of an inexperienced player, and the ball didn't roll the right way, or like they took a misstep or missed time to tackle, and all of a sudden the other team's in on goal. So
yeah,
at the highest level of the game, it's harsh because moments get punished. So and then at the end, you're looking back, it's like, 3-0. How'd this happen again? It's like, so maybe it's not the whole culture, but it's just those moments. But if you
yeah,
have enough of those moments, over time, doesn't look too great.
yeah. But I think you're right. I mean, some of it is probably um, potential, slotting some new guys in and not necessarily recognizing that he may have to make a couple adjustments
Sure.
with, because of, I mean, I think this is where you can see, like, hey, like, and I'm sure they've talked about it, but Thiago's been playing the same way for years now, and Henderson or other guys, and then you ask them to change just because there's an injury here,
Yeah.
and then that injury, and then I think that's really interesting, and honestly, part of it has been super impressive because the versatility of players. Actually, Henderson, like, being a prime example,
Mm-hmm.
kids and parents and players, going into college, and I'm sure you see this, is like, what position do you play? Oh, I play the 7, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, we actually see you as, a 2, or, I think,
Yeah.
and I think it's like, hey, your your profile, your ability, you should be able to play across the whole pitch. And I think that's something we introduced at our club is,
Yes.
at the youngest ages, you play every position, including goalie. You rotate,
Love it.
and like at 9s and 10s, we have a positional rotation, uh,
Good.
and that just allows the kids to be introduced to the basic concepts of every position, and both from a positional standpoint, but also like receiving and passing and understanding the space within those positions is a
Yep.
different feel.
Oh my
There's more
God.
pressure, there's different pressure, right? There's like pressure on your back if you're playing centrally
Yep.
in the midfield or up front. There's pressure coming from in front of you if you're playing outside backs. It's like, it's different. It's a different experience. So I think
Yeah.
that, I mean, people do it at the highest levels. Why wouldn't you want to do it at youth levels? And I think
Right.
it is, it's another interesting kind of input that applies across at the highest level.
Yep. That's a good point. Anyways, we'll see what happens with this Liverpool season. I think all the eggs are in the Champions League basket.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, I like Pep. I'm a Pep supporter. So
It's hard not to be.
yeah, I'm not, like, I'm not like the biggest. Obviously, City doesn't have the same history that Liverpool is, but the Pep era, I'm a massive fan of him, and how he's actually been able. Obviously, they have all the resources, but
Sure.
there's some of the top 4, top 6 are investing quite a bit, but he's been able to really, I think, move people around and get the right players in that system. And I
Uh-huh.
loved watching some of the documentaries
Oh,
in the
I
locker room.
loved that. The Amazon one.
If people haven't seen that, I would definitely recommend getting in on that.
Did you see the one about Leeds? It was also
Oh,
Amazon.
I caught some of that, but I need to watch that whole.
The Leeds one, it took you through what was Bielsa's first season, and like talk about implementing a style of play, like in a style of play that it's as like demanding as the one he likes to set up, was just to see that shift in the players and like the whole club. Even it was really cool. Talk about like man management and managing people. That was fascinating.
I'm gonna have to. I've seen one like some clips from that, but I haven't seen the whole thing. So I gotta catch that one.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of time at home to maybe catch these.
I know. I was like, all right, what should I watch on TV tonight? Or
Yeah, that's awesome, man.